unlucky.
Very good.
Your head in the thing?
Not on this display, but it will be
Will it?
in the other one. Potentially, yeah. So I
we
couldn't
go.
find the white chairs
They're
tonight, but
literally just there.
they're over there.
Behind where the couch was that he moved.
They're behind a table and I couldn't see them. So I moved the lounge chair.
Pray for me, guys. First of all, shout out to Nathan. We're late.
That's right. But he said he was especially keen to tune in no matter what time. So
literally the
staying
opposite
up.
of what he said.
he's staying up late.
I wonder if we get him. Staying up late. You need to back it up when your head's chopped
No,
off.
but I wanted to see who that was. Thank you. Anyway. I
Unknown
didn't.
watcher.
So you'll have to
Thank
have to
Zuckerberg
comment.
for that. He has not.
Thanks, Mark.
Anyway, I'd like you to lean back. It's distracting
Okay.
for me.
Sure.
Okay, there you go. So, what killed our dog?
What killed our dog?
What
yeah.
killed our dog? What does the Bible say?
Our dog died
Like-
how long ago?
Well, 2 days after Christmas. So,
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Not
rough.
horrible. Yeah, it was a kick in the pants. It was a real kick in the pants.
Good dog.
Oh, great dog. We had her for 11 years from when she was a puppy, and great. Wonderful dog.
Big dog.
Big, huge dog. Anyway, she died 2 days after Christmas.
So there were fireworks happening. This is what killed our dog.
Fireworks?
It was constant fireworks were going off in our neighbourhood between Christmas and New Year's, and every
Yeah.
time they let off fireworks, our dog would
Yeah.
skits out,
Oh, yeah.
go crazy.
Storms, fireworks, any banging.
Tries to, loud, really loud noises.
Yeah.
And she kept trying to get in through the door, and sometimes we'd let her in, sometimes we wouldn't let her in. Anyway,
Most of the time I was letting her in because she'd become increasingly upset with all this stuff. So I was letting her in when she was... And she had taken to knocking on the doggy door, not trying to fit through this tiny...
the dog door's like this big. Our dog is like
She was.
50 kilos.
She was big, but so she was becoming increasingly upset with all of this noise. And there was a lot
and
at
then
Christmas
and then
time.
one day there was the fireworks, the banging.
It was the rabbit traps.
Or the rabbit traps, the
gas
things they let
traps.
off. Anyway, people don't know or care probably, but
You need
loud
to be a
banging,
farmer to
like
know what we're
fireworks,
talking
yeah,
about.
for crying out loud. They let off these gas explosions to stop rabbits building their burrows
Yes,
in
that's what
this
was
area,
happening.
in the
And then-
area of the Lockyer Valley, which
Yeah.
we don't have any rabbits over here.
Nope.
Don't come to our house, council. Thank you.
We don't have any rabbits.
Anyway, the bangs that went off, Lucy, like one morning, boom, hit the door. And it wasn't the rabbit traps that killed her, and it wasn't the fireworks that killed her, but it was the fear of those things that caused her to have a heart attack and
She did.
die.
She had a heart attack and died. It's very sad.
So
Poor Lucy.
I hope and pray what killed our dog isn't coming for you, because
That's
fear
right.
is a killer.
It is.
And you need to kill it before it kills you.
There it is.
There you go.
That's right.
You do need to conquer it. Otherwise, it wants to take you down. It took our dog down. I'm not happy
Literally
about that.
took her down. Like,
It did.
Bang.
Like she was shot, but she wasn't shot.
No.
It was the fear got to her.
Yeah, just eventually, that's right. It catches up with you. It's a horrible master.
Yeah.
And it is a master. Like, you can have, like, certain things come in and you can tolerate a little bit of fear. Like, people will tolerate that. Like, oh, no, I'm scared of that. I'm not going to do that. And it's like...
Don't tolerate it.
Yeah, like, I'm like, why are you tolerating
off
that?
the mainstream media.
Yes, but it's not just that.
But they're probably the worst.
They don't help.
They are what fireworks and rabbit deterrents were for our dog. Mainstream media is to you. It is a perfect ratio. They are exactly
Perfect ratio.
to a dog. It's fireworks. To man, it is Channel 7 News. 7, 9, 10, ABC probably.
Oh,
the worst.
take your pick.
ABC.
ABC is dead to me. So
You guys are on Facebook Live just trolling the media. Yes.
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 Next question.
That is-
So, I was saying that fear is a horrible master.
Horrible
right?
master,
Horrible
yeah.
master. And tolerating a little bit of fear. Like, you can, to not let that. Give it an inch. Like, even give it a tiny bit. It's never satisfied. It comes from the devil. And it's never satisfied. It's a spirit of fear. The Bible calls it a spirit of fear.
That's right.
So it's not just a feeling. It's a spirit. You have to take dominion over that. You have to, because it will back you into a corner, where eventually you won't even want to leave your house.
That's
so
right.
you can't give it a bit.
Yeah.
We've been given the opposite to that. God didn't give you a spirit of fear.
But of power, love, and a sound mind. That's right. Fear will make you go crazy in the head.
Yeah,
fear is the spirit of an opposite of a sound mind. You start going irrational, crazy person. It is true, eh?
Yeah, and you literally, you sound like one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do. You sound like one.
I remember going to someone's home dropping off a food parcel, and they like...
You like creak the door open.
Yeah, like that far. You know, just crazy. Like full crazy. And the reason is fear.
Yeah.
Ultimately, probably that is what was behind it.
Yeah, and you can be...
Too much news. Too much watching the news.
It can be legitimate things, like maybe this person was a bad person and they had people after them, so it was a legit to open the...
Yeah, not to be an idiot. Probably don't be a moron. That's true.
Exactly, like, you know. Yeah, there's healthy, like, reverent, there's natural respect kind of fear where you're like, okay, I'm not going to go to the edge of that cliff because I'm going to fall off and die. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But fear that's in your mind that traps you. It's so bad.
And almost like the feeling of it.
Oh, yeah.
Like you sense it. Like you sense it in your spirit. You can feel that.
Yeah.
Like it's a bit different sometimes.
That's right.
Anyway.
No, and I had issues with fear a while back and conquered them because somebody said to me, hey, wake up, you're living in this box of like... Yeah, and I'm forever grateful because I didn't realize that I was living in this thing of like fear controlling me. Like I knew that like I would go around my house at night and I would shut. Like as soon as it got to like getting dark, because Matt was working and so I was on my own.
On the road to crazy.
Yeah, no, on the road to crazy. It's true.
You were.
I was. Like I had this weird routine that I would have to do to feel safe.
Wow.
It was a routine and a system that I did, and then if I didn't do it, I didn't feel safe. I felt scared. And it would be getting to dusk and this anxious feeling would come up in me and I'm like, okay, it's time to, yes, it's a spirit of fear. And so I would go around the house and I would shut everything and lock everything and the blinds and make sure the blinds were shut because I didn't want to see. Like I was scared I was going to see something looking in my window. Like what even is that? Like who?
Like a person?
No, like a person or a thing. I don't know. I was just scared.
Worst case scenario, a person looks through your window.
I know, and it's like, hey, back up, champ. What are you doing? But here's my and I even had my massive dog at the time. Yeah. And I'm like, so I was backed up into a corner and that feeling would control me. And then somebody came to my house one time and she said to me, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't like that. And she really called me on it. And I loved that she did. And was like, hey, you're tolerating this. You're letting something in your life that's controlling you. You know, if you saw a mangy, feral-looking, hideous creature, dog type thing coming up to your house, you wouldn't just sit there and be like, hey, your kids are in here. You'd be, hey, back up.
Get that thing
and you
out.
would get that baseball bat and you would crack that thing in the head. And I'm like, yeah, what the heck? And it was like it shocked me out of it. Yeah. And it wasn't like, okay, now I'm not afraid anymore. Yay. I had to work from there. I had to work on, no, I am not going to be afraid because that feeling, that spirit of fear would come and make me, and I'd have to go, no, I am not afraid. I am not going to live in fear. God has not given me a spirit of fear. He's given me a spirit of a sound mind. I'm not a crazy person. I'm going to take charge of this, and started having that authority that I twigged that I had.
Wow.
To say, no, you back up.
So you started to learn to overcome it.
I did. I had to overcome it. I did have to overcome it for myself. And so I would force myself to look out the window at night and be like, I'm not scared. And I overcame. And then
that's so good.
Yeah, it's
that is
good.
So good. I'm so glad my wife didn't go crazy.
Me too.
She's getting better and better.
like an old...
Send your condolences to me. No, she's great.
Anyway, what do you want a scripture for that? I gave you one. Where was that?
Where was
I
what?
did ask you to find it for me, but I don't think we ever did. God has not given you a spirit of fear.
In one of the Timothys.
It's in one of the Timothys, so do your homework, go and look it up for yourself.
Yeah, for crying out loud, what are you...
I'm going to spoon feed you this.
I thought you wanted gyrus.
I did want a Jairus' daughter because, well, this is another scriptural example of not having fear in your life, because Jairus came to Jesus saying, my daughter is sick. Yeah, go for it.
This
please.
is Luke. So this is actually Luke 8:41.
We'll give you this one.
Hello, Peter. Then a man named Jairus, leader of the local synagogue, came and fell at Jesus' feet, pleading with him to come home with him.
Right.
His daughter, who was only 12 years old, was dying. So Jesus went with him. He was surrounded by the crowd. And then a woman in the crowd had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding, and she could find no cure. Coming up behind Jesus, she touched the fringe of his robe, and immediately the bleeding stopped. Who touched me? Jesus asked. Everyone denied it, and Peter said, do you want me to go through the woman with the issue of blood?
Well, you can pause there. No, I want you to talk about where the servant comes to Jairus and says, hey.
So this person, Jesus, this woman with the issue of blood gets healed, and daughter, he said, your faith has made you well, go in peace. Right. While he was still speaking to her, a messenger arrived from the home of Jairus, the leader of the synagogue.
Right.
He told him, your daughter is dead. There's no use troubling the teacher now.
Why trouble the teacher any further?
Yeah, you're being a nuisance. Leave Jesus alone. He's a busy man.
But Jesus heard him. What did Jesus say?
But when Jesus heard what had happened, he said to Jairus, don't be afraid, just have faith.
That's right.
Don't be afraid, only believe.
That's right.
Or don't be afraid, just have faith, and she will be healed.
That's right. Faith is the opposite to fear.
When they arrived at the house, Jesus wouldn't let anyone go in with him except Peter, James, and John, and the little girl's father and mother. The house was filled with people weeping and wailing, but she said, stop weeping. She isn't dead. She's only asleep. But the crowd laughed at him, and because they all knew she had died. Then Jesus took her by the hand and said in a loud voice, my child, get up. At that moment, her life returned, and she immediately stood up. Good.
Okay, stop there. There's so many options. There were so many opportunities in there for him to have fear. First of all, get this, he's the leader of the synagogue.
Yeah.
He's got to come to Jesus. Everyone in the synagogue hated him.
Right.
Hated Jesus.
Right.
So he's risking his entire reputation, if I can speak, to come to Jesus in the first place. So he had to overcome that obstacle of fear.
Right.
And knowing,
oh, wow.
Jesus is my only hope, and I might look like a fool because these people are going to
fear of man.
Yeah, the fear of man will disqualify you from your miracle.
The fear of man is a snare, the Bible says. That's
right. And so he had to overcome that fear.
Right.
And then he's like, come on, we're going to... Jesus is like, yep. He's like, okay, yes, we're going home. Jesus is coming. It's going to be okay. That's faith. And he was in faith, we're going, it's going to be good. And then this woman comes and she's like, touched the hem of the garment. But she was just,
an interruption.
She was an interruption. And she had to overcome fear to get there.
Right.
But
so it's impossible to move in faith and move in fear at the same time.
Exactly. Spot on. You can't.
Wow.
They are opposites. It's like trying to squish magnets together that have got the opposite ends. You can't.
It's kind of possible, but it takes a lot of effort, isn't it?
And it doesn't hit. Anyways, but so he's there, and yes, that's really nice, Clarissa. Thank you. So he's there waiting. This woman's done this, and then there's an interruption. I imagine at that time you'd be like, "What the heck are you doing? She's dying. Excuse me? I said she's dying. Let's go." And Jesus is like, "Who touched me?" And you'd be thinking, "What is wrong with you? Look how many people are around you.
My daughter's dying.
My daughter's dying. You said you'd come. Excuse me." So they're like, he's like, gonna wait. There's so many opportunities for him to just skits out and in anxiety and
wow,
my daughter, come on. And I get that because your daughter is
and then he gets the message that
yes, that's right. He comes
dead.
And says, "Excuse me, don't bother the teacher any further." And so even at that moment, he could have just lost it with his mouth, with grief, and everyone would be like, "Fine, fair enough." But Jesus heard this person and was like, "Don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid.
Wow.
Only believe." And so it's like, yeah, okay. And he shut his mouth. He didn't say anything else.
Wow.
He didn't say anything. Just that's fine. And it was a long time because Jesus said to this woman, "Tell me your story." And it says in the Bible that she told him all that had been done to her. He's sitting there going, shut up. My daughter needs you. Come on. Like,
Wow.
so many, and that feeling of anxiety to like shivers, hurry up.
You know, I wonder, Jesus, when he said, do not be afraid, only believe, he was giving the power for Jairus to not be afraid and only believe as he spoke it.
Yeah, it sounds like a command.
Faith, yeah. So faith comes from hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So
right.
when Jairus spoke that was the ability
When
for
Jesus
Jairus,
spoke
when
that.
Jesus spoke that. That was the ability that Jairus needed to not fear in that situation. Because without that would be pretty well very hard.
Yeah.
Borderline impossible.
Yeah, that's insane. That's an insane amount of like horrible feeling to overcome. But that's what he did. He overcame.
Yeah.
He overcame. He's held his peace, and they got there. Guess what? Jesus raised it from the dead. That's great.
Right. Good,
Happy
great
ending.
outcome.
Right.
Better than our dog.
Oh. I really miss our dog.
Yeah, look, we're happy. You know, we liked our dog. We
That's
didn't beat our
normal.
dog. We were sad. I'm just like
That's
trying
a weird thing to clarify.
Just like
okay.
we're just very happy people.
We are, yeah. No,
Talking
it's,
about the death of our dog and laughing is a little weird to some people.
oh,
that's all.
look, if we
We'd
had
be
done
like,
this
"Heartless."
broadcast like
Heartless.
after she died, not long after she died, I cried for a while. Like I couldn't talk about her for a while. I'll get emotional enough if you stay on it now. But let's move on. But yeah, so that's talking about the fear and overcoming, and that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. I think that that's something that a lot of people really do struggle with is fear, because like people say it's okay to be afraid, it's normal to be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not your friend.
Yeah, it's not your friend.
It is not your friend.
Yeah.
It's a horrible master, a terrible friend, so kill the fear before it kills you.
Use your mouth as a weapon.
That's right, it is.
Speak
good
the
weapon.
word like Jesus did. Mm-hmm. Or be quiet like Jairus did.
That's right.
And
if you can't say anything good, just shut up.
And don't-
like, just don't.
Don't speak the media rubbish.
Oh my gosh!
about
And then
whatever
fear,
they
and then
say.
fear, and then fear.
Fear.
Fear out of my mouth. Like, just don't do that.
Pros.
That's right. You have like one or the other. You can speak faith or you can speak fear. They are opposites. And if you speak faith, fear will get lost.
That's good. Yep. I like it.
Love it.
Hello, Linda.
Linda Lalor.
Special wave.
Oh yeah, literally wave.
All right.
Good
See you,
evening.
Clarissa.